So this is the second video in the sequence on arithmetic sequences. We put in a plug to remind you to read Chapter 3 in your book, because this is what Chapter 3 is about. So reminder. If you haven't started homework assignment number 2, don't worry, that's about the stuff we talked about last week. So please do it. But don't worry that we're not having class today. Okay, so let's see here. In the last video we saw that arithmetic sequences were those that had the same differences between them. If you look at consecutive terms, they all have the same differences. Well, how can we represent this in a convenient fashion? So let's put up an example. So we talked about the position. Let's give it a name. Let's call it n. Let's look at the terms, and I'm going to use with subscripts, and then I'm going to actually write the actual term, and of course write down the differences. So a lot of columns, but it'll help explain what's going on. Okay, so let's look at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what is the subscript notation for this term? So let's say this sequence is called A. Then A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. I'm going to leave some space here so I can fill out what these are. Okay, now let's take a look at an arithmetic sequence. Here's one, for instance. -3, -6, -9, -12, -15, -18. So what's the differences? Let's see here. What's the differences? So -3 minus -6 minus -3. Of course, negative is a positive, so it's -3. -9 minus -6, again -3. -12 minus -9, again -3. 15 minus -12, -3. And -18 minus -15, that's again -3. Okay, so the differences are all the same. So it is indeed, yes, this is arithmetic. But if you look at one of these equations, here, in fact, let me grab one. Let's grab this guy here. In fact, let me do it this way. Let me grab that equation. Okay, so here he is. Well, let's fill out subscript-wise. What is this? Well, where's the -6? Well, the -6 is A1. Let's do it in black. The -6 is the A1 term. And what's the -3? That's an A0 term. Right, so that's what that difference means. In fact, you get, what's the next one? The next one is the -9. And that -9 minus -6, well, let's see, what is that? Let's copy over the whole lot of these guys here and see what we can say about it. There they all are. We can see that I've picked up an extra bit of something over there. Extra bit of crud. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Let's put a little more space in here. Okay, so let's see, the -9 is a 2, and the -6 is still A1, that's -3. And let's see, I have an A3 minus A2, that's -3. And I bet you can see the pattern. Here's an A4 minus A3, A5, minus A4 is -3, and so on. But you can see the pattern, and you could fill it out if you wanted to keep going. Well, you know, we can turn this into a recursive formulation. So let's make this recursive. I don't know if recursivize is a real word, but let's use it anyway. And what we'll do is we'll say, well, you know what, we can tell what the next term is from the previous term. So A1 is A0 minus 3, A2 is A1 minus 3, A3 is minus 3, dot, dot, dot. But wait a moment. This looks like the sort of thing that we ought to be able to write out nicely. You know, I could write this as the next term, the an plus 1 term is an minus 3. So this is a recursive formula describing my sequence. So this is a recursive formula describing my sequence. Well, wait a moment. You know, there's really nothing special about this 3 here. You know, this 3 is the difference, right? There's negative 3 here. This was the difference between terms. Right? Let's scroll up here and you can see it. There it is. There's the 3's. See the 3's? There's the 3. Negative 3's. Oh, well, I think there's a pattern. And this is the punchline. The pattern is that any arithmetic sequence with difference between consecutive terms being D has the recursive definition a sub n plus 1 is a sub n plus D. They're all like this. All like this. In fact, it's so important. Let me make it more prominent there. So the point of the matter is, whenever you have an arithmetic sequence, it's got this recursive definition. The only thing missing, then, if you know what the difference is, that's the D, the only thing missing is the initial conditions. So, note, don't forget initial condition A0. If you've got the initial condition A0 and you've got the D, and you know it's an arithmetic sequence, then this is what it's got to be. Okay, excellent. Well, there's one more video, and I'll see you then.